Bitcoin and the crypto markets still aren't looking too hot. And honestly, that $53,000 price target that we talked about in last week's video is seeming pretty likely, even more so than it was a week ago. And of course, we'll discuss why that is. But it's 4th of July weekend. Happy 4th of July, you guys. Let's keep a smile on our faces, because after this correction, the fireworks can start once again. My name's Royce Jacob, and welcome back to Waves Capital. This one's going to be short and sweet, you guys. We're going to keep this one casual. We're going to take a look at the charts. Obviously, talk Bitcoin. We'll also take a look at the other two, making the big three over here at Waves Cap. Riot Platforms and Render Token. These are my favorite plays in the space. If you guys have other favorite plays, that's perfectly fine. But these are mine, and that's why we're going to discuss them. So BTC, Riot, and Render on the charts today. I want to discuss this quick article because I do think that from a fundamental perspective, this definitely makes sense as to why this could have a negative impact on the price of Bitcoin. But this is really just the technicals playing themselves out. I really do think that this previous high, this previous macro high, as I call it, needs, and I will say needs, it is a necessity that Bitcoin retest this at some point, this prior macro high right here, as a new prior macro low prior to resuming the overall bull market. So the sooner the better. Let's check it off. Let's get it out of the way so we can resume the party. Okay. If I'm being honest, you guys, that's pretty much the sum of Bitcoin. We will get into some technicals here, and I'll talk about why. RSI is looking bad, and some pretty much everything looks bad with Bitcoin right now, if I'm being honest, and I'll go into why that is. But let's cover this first. Before we do, though, if you guys do want the Waves Bitcoin canvas, it's not the first link in the description. That's the portfolio newsletter. More on that later. But if you guys want the Bitcoin canvas, it's like the second link in the description or something. Okay, so Bitcoin windfall coming from Mt. Gox creditors after a decade-long wait and 10,000% price spike. Key points. We're not going to go into the article, you guys. Just go Google this for yourself. CNBC. Read through the whole thing if you'd like to. But we're just going to go over the key points to keep this short and sweet. Okay, so key points. Defunct Bitcoin exchange Mt. Gox will soon begin paying back thousands of users, roughly $9 billion worth of crypto in total. The payout comes more than a decade after the exchange went bankrupt following the cyber theft of up to 950,000 Bitcoin. Bitcoin is now trading at over 60K, an increase of more than 10,000% from the time of Mt. Gox bankruptcy. These guys are pumped that they're getting repaid in Bitcoin as opposed to the dollar value of their Bitcoin, which I think actually happened in the FTX trial. But this is sick. These guys are stoked. This is going to be a very, very, very big deal and honestly, this could be the best thing that ever happened to these guys. It's so unlikely that the majority of the people getting back their Bitcoin wouldn't have sold it at some point in the past 10 years. So this was a forced investment in a sense. This is really a major silver lining of this whole case. So good for them, but there is no chance that they won't be selling a significant sum because this is going to be life-changing money for a lot of them. So they're going to be dumping some BTC in the markets. Obviously, 950,000 Bitcoin. Obviously, that's not all going to be redispersed at once. It's not all going to be reimbursed as well, but there will be some extra sell pressure on the markets due to this Mt. Gox crediting. Okay, so that said, again, I really do think that given the overall macro environment as well, the Nasdaq's been on fire, tech stocks have been on fire. Nvidia actually hasn't reached that price target yet that I discussed in the last video. I do think it will, but the bulls, when it comes to big tech, are proving incredibly resilient. But the longer we go without a significant correction, and this is the longest, if you did watch that last video, this is the longest the S&P 500 has gone without a 2% or greater correction since, as far as days go, we're at like high 200s or low 300 something days since the Great Depression in 2008. Okay, the recession in 2008. So the longer we go without a significant correction, the more likely it becomes that we get one. And I think Bitcoin's really kind of setting the trend, setting the tone for what we'll see in the markets probably in the week ahead, maybe even starting tomorrow because we have Friday. It's so weird to have a single day between pretty much a weekend. But I do think that the pressure from the equity markets will rub on a Bitcoin. And again, I really just think we have to check off the box from 53,000. On top of that, volume is picking up. We see 3 big old red candles, 3 red crows, 3 black crows. bad bearish sign. As far as daily Stokes are concerned, daily stochastic RSI has just curled down. 1D RSI is below its exponential moving average, which is this cyan line below the white line, which is the EMA. And we are now below all major moving averages. 50-day, 200-day, and I don't know why I said it that way. 50-day, 100-day, and 200-day, which that's really bad news, you guys. And that could mean, if I'm being honest, that it may take a while to rebound. But I don't think it will, because I actually think that probably at the Federal Reserve's next meeting, they're going to show some leniency with interest rates. Although Jerome Powell just came out yesterday, 2 days ago, and talked about how they need more confirmation that inflation is slowing down. But if you guys look around, I mean, it's pretty evident that inflation is slowing. Jobs are slowing down. And I do think that at the next Fed meeting, the Fed is finally going to verbally ease up and provide more clarity on when they plan on doing interest rates, and maybe even signal that they'll do it at the next meeting. Complete speculation. That's what I think is the likeliest scenario, though. Okay, so that's Bitcoin. Again, you guys, I think Bitcoin does fall to $53,000. I think we probably travel sideways, trade in a little range for a week or two, and then we can slowly begin resuming the rally to hopefully new all-time highs come fall, definitely winter. Okay, again, just my opinion. Always know, though, my money is where my mouth is. And before we get into Riot, speaking of money where my mouth is, I have been buying up calls, and I have a whole lot of new call options, new call positions that are in my scope right now that I'm pumped to buy in the week ahead. Hopefully we get a correction so I can snake up some of these. Hopefully I can shark up some of these new positions that I've been eyeballing. Some AI plays. I already have a pretty decent Riot play on deck, which, hopefully in the week ahead doesn't do too bad, but that's why you keep a diversified portfolio. That's the importance of diversification, regardless of your conviction around one asset. Even if you're super bullish on one thing, even if you only like Bitcoin miners, I can't exaggerate enough the importance of having multiple positions on deck, okay? It's important. And again, I do. So if you guys want to know exactly what my options portfolio looks like, if you want real-time trade alerts, if you want my daily trade alert newsletters, like we can see right here in front of me, and I'm not going to scroll down out of respect for subscribers and members, but if you want to join, if you want to become a member, then it's the first link in the description of the video, right above the link for the Bitcoin for the Bitcoin canvas. There we go. You get everything that this box here entails. Select whichever pricing plan you want. It's completely up to you. Try it free for 7 days. If you don't like it, you can always unsubscribe. But that's rare, and I'm very proud of that being a rare occurrence. So if you're not already a member, join the team. Appreciate it if you do. If not, no worries at all. Appreciate you watching this video too. Okay, let's talk about Riot. So Riot, if Bitcoin doesn't perform well, it should be very evident that Riot isn't going to perform well either. There are always caveats to, sometimes Bitcoin underperforms and Bitcoin miners perform decently well. Sometimes, Ronan, what the heck? It's my son. It's all right. Hi, buddy. Okay. So Riot, Bitcoin miners are not going to perform well if Bitcoin doesn't perform well either. Okay. And obviously there are caveats to that, as I was just saying, but for the most part, that is always the case. Okay. So Riot doesn't look quite as bearish, I will say, as Mara, and always know that I am biased because I do like Riot more than Mara. But if Bitcoin falls to $53,000, I do think that Riot could potentially fall. Although we are near the lower end of this range, I do think that Bitcoin could potentially fall, 15 to 17% to just retest this low from back in April, okay? Which wouldn't be terrible, especially in the case that the greater markets fall as well, okay? The price of Bitcoin miners typically reflects the price or the average price action of, say, like the NASDAQ, the Russell 2000 kind of growth stock indices, and Bitcoin combined, okay? That's typically how Bitcoin miners react as far as price is concerned. Okay, so maybe we fall back to the $8 region, bottom out around there, travel sideways, and then eventually, once the bull market starts picking up steam again, I do think that we will ultimately test this line of resistance that has been in play for a very, very long time. For almost a year now, come July, come about a week from now, it will be a year that this trend line has officially been in play. And I do think it'll be retested at some point. This is a very valid trend line, multiple macro touch points. If we hit it, say again, come the fall, winter months, September, October, that would result in a $15 plus Riot. So things aren't looking good right now, you guys. Just stand strong. Just chill out. If you're trading calls, make sure the calls, the expiration dates on those call options are a ways away, and just sit back and relax. Just enjoy the summer. Okay, so that's Riot. Let's talk render. And I'll just say I referenced Mara. I want to talk about why Mara looks bad. If Mara does fall, I think the price target, because Mara has been showing more volatility, I should have elaborated upon that. That's why I think that Riot won't fall quite as hard as Mara, is because Mara has been acting more volatile. You can see Riot was down 1.5%, Mara was down 5% in the previous trading session before the 4th. So Mara, very clear line of support on a megaphone channel. If Mara falls, I think Mara could fall as much as 30%, which would kind of reflect that prior April low that I just discussed for Riot. So Riot fall, 17, 18%, Mara fall 33, 34%, and then hopefully sideways for a little bit and back to the races. Okay, let's close it out with render token. All right, render token. As of right now, it's looking incredibly likely, although we do have a decently stable floor here, right around 680 for some reason. Strange area to have a solid floor like this, but it is proving to be somewhat of a floor. 680, $7, proving to be somewhat of a floor. But if Bitcoin falls, if the king falls, the kingdom follows suit. Or what if the king climbs, the kingdom follows. Okay, so that's just the nature of the beast. Bitcoin falls, it's pretty likely that render token does as well. I do think that render probably falls to about $5.30, just to retest the prior the prior high from the overall rally. If you guys do have render, if you guys bought render, in the high, just under $1 or just over $1 or even $2-3, like we did over here at Waves Cap, take some profits. I mean, obviously, shoulda, woulda, coulda. If you didn't take profits up at $10, it's like, oh man, I gotta wait till some other time. If just take some profits, okay? Even if it's 10%, realize some profits. You'll feel better about yourself. You'll feel more responsible, and it's just, even if you think like I do that render is going to be sitting at like $30 someday, it's important to take profits, even just to exercise the muscle of profit taking, because it's necessary. It's required of you to take profits, especially in the next phase of the bull market, where hopefully we do see that double-digit, maybe triple-digit render someday, but $25 remains my 2024-2025 bull market price target for render. Again, $25, which reflects a market cap of $10 billion. And again, if things get crazy, could be much higher than that. That's personally where I will sell probably 30-40% of my render position is at $25, because that's just been my long-time target. Sell half, keep the other half on the table. It's house money, and just let it ride until, again, hopefully we see those triple digits. Okay, you guys, that was the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think about the crypto markets right now. What are you bullish on? What are you bearish on? How you just feeling in general? And hopefully you guys have a sick 4th of July weekend. Happy 4th of July, you guys. Cheers to the month ahead. Should be a fun one, and I'll catch you next time. Till then, always remember, take action, make waves. Peace.